Promise that you'll catch me. Promise that you'll catch me. Promise that
YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. Today's discussion is going to be talking about fat loss and muscle gain at the same time. So unfortunately, there's so much information out there, misleading information, not only from reading articles to various athletes and people posting things with false information, or they are not disclosing everything that they are doing. So I'm just going to go into a little bit of more of the scientific part of your body and how things work, some things that are possible and some things that are not possible as a natural athlete. How do we lose weight? Well, increase intensity of exercise, and then also cutting calories, cutting food, putting yourself in a deficit. You are burning more than you are intaking. How do we gain weight? We're intaking more food, more calories than that which we are burning. So think of this, you work out, you're lifting really heavy weights. You're depleted, you're sore. So what does that mean? The muscle fibers are damaged. They get torn during training, which is not a bad thing, but that's what happens when you're feeling sore. If your nutrition is on point according to your goals, what happens after you work out, your body will start to repair and replace the damaged fibers of your muscle. And what are they doing? They're creating new strands of muscle fibers, which means is you're just increasing, you're adding to, which we call that hypertrophy, which means growth. So now that you kind of have an idea of how that process works, think about it. If you're not intaking an adequate enough amount of food and you're trying to create fat loss, your body's not going to be able to repair and replace those muscle fibers. Let's break down a little bit how you gain weight and how you lose weight. So we have two different types of training. We have aerobic and aerobic. Aerobic training requires oxygen. You increase endurance. Usually your heart rate has to be between 120 and 150 BPM. Aerobic activity also uses type 1 muscle fibers. You're using type 1 muscle fibers while you're training in aerobic. You're just increasing muscle endurance, like how long you can withstand that type of training. It also helps your heart. It also helps your heart pump better and get more blood to your heart. And we all know this, that aerobic activity is something you do for an extended period of time. So this can include, like jogging, swimming, your elliptical, your stationary bike, or a real bike, or hiking. Anaerobic activity is opposite of aerobic, obviously. Anaerobic is where you are going in and you're lifting weights. And it does not require the presence of oxygen the way you would need when you're doing aerobic training. Now, anaerobic works type 2 muscle fibers. Type 2 muscle fibers is what's going to increase size and strength. A lot of you probably wouldn't know this, but HIIT training is actually a form of anaerobic activity. So when you think about HIIT training, because you're doing it in short durations and you're doing it at your max as fast as you can for a certain period of time, and then you recover. It's kind of like the same thing as when you do resistance training. You are pushing weight for a certain amount of reps and then you stop and recover. That's why the HIIT is really good for maintaining muscle and burning the fat. That being explained, when you think about you're doing tons of cardio and you're not really doing much resistance training, and you even have a restricted diet, as you're working different muscle fibers, there's going to be no increase in size. You may maintain your size with some body fat decrease. Now keep in mind, when I'm talking about muscle gain, I'm talking about a good amount of muscle. Some people may be able to make a very slight muscle gain. It's not going to be enough to significantly make a huge difference, especially with fat loss. You know, certain people genetically, they may be able to gain muscle really easy, and those who have really hard time gaining muscle. Various people that do achieve fat loss and maybe make the tiniest amount of lean muscle gain, you gotta remember, they have a structured plan. They work their butts off to achieve that, and they are so on point and consistent with their structured program. It's not just like taking bits and pieces from social media and trying to throw them together. Different programs affect men and women differently. Men can have an easier time with certain methods, whereas women, it's more difficult, especially if you're doing it natural. Women and our hormones, and we want to hang on to our body fat for specific reasons. So those all play a factor too when you're trying to lose weight or when you're trying to gain weight. Also remember that when you lean out, when you drop body fat, when that body fat starts to disappear, all the muscle that's underneath that layer of body fat will start to show, and a lot of times it makes you appear bigger, look like you made gains. You're just revealing that muscle that's underneath that body fat. I do believe that with the right structured program, according to the individual specifically, and done naturally, that you can achieve a small amount of lean muscle if 100% committed and 100% consistent over a period of time, but it's not going to happen quickly. If you're really aggressive on your fat loss, it's going to be very hard for you to gain muscle. You got to be careful with that because you can lose muscle too. So that's why the correct structured diet and training program is crucial to maintaining muscle and for fat loss. And even the other way too, for gaining muscle and not gaining too much fat. Hopefully that little analogy kind of like helped you guys understand a little bit more of how your body works when it comes to weight loss and weight gain. You know, you have to have a very specific weight training regimen. In order to increase size, you've got to eat more and you've got to train more. You've got to train hard. You've got to push yourself above and beyond that max. So a lot of you have the question, oh, should I lose body fat first and then try to gain muscle? Now you got to remember, if you do lose body fat and then you start going into trying to gain muscle, you're going to still have some body fat to follow with that. To increase muscle, you have to increase everything else, weight, nutrition, and you can't be doing tons of cardio while you're trying to gain weight. You really have to pick one or the other: fat loss, maintain, or both. For someone like me, currently, like right now, I'd be maintaining. Like, I'm trying to really push a lot more weight, but I'm focusing more on strength, not increasing size. Those of you that want a butt or want more size, especially on your legs, you gotta stop doing all that crazy amount of cardio and eating on a deficit, because you are not going to increase size. You're gonna be just repeating this over and over again, and then wondering why you're putting in all this work and you should be seeing increase in size and you're not. That's why. You have to pick one or the other and then you have to just accept it, trust it, be patient, and go with it. Otherwise, if you want more fat loss versus, you know, gaining muscle, then stick with your fat loss, but accept and understand that you're not going to be able to increase muscle in the areas that you want while you're trying to achieve fat loss. What do you do when you bulk? Everything has to be tailored according to that. You have to decrease or pretty much eliminate cardio. And some people who actually do bulk a correct way don't do cardio at all. They do zero cardio and they focus all on their nutrition and their training, their weight training. People think when they go to bulk that they can have all these sugary processed stuff. Well, it's gonna help you make gains, but you're gonna make a lot of fat gains. So that's why even if you're in a lean bulk or in a bulk or whatever it is you're doing, you still have to have a nutrient-dense whole foods diet. You still have to eat, you're just eating large amounts of these complex carbs, your proteins and your fats. You can actually keep that body fat percentage in check and it won't go overboard, it won't go too much. But focus on that volume and increasing weight and in your weight training and eating correctly in a surplus, intaking quite a bit more according to you specifically in your training regimen. Every person's different, from individual to individual. What this person needs is going to be different than this person, so it's never going to be exactly same for every single person. So that's where you're going to have to, you know, you have to sit down either with yourself and do the proper research and calculate out what you'd need according to that, or you'd have to hire a professional. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys and this kind of gave you a little bit of insight on losing fat and gaining muscle. And just keep in mind, you guys, don't be fooled by a lot of stuff on social media. Again, you know, you don't want to believe everything that's out there, and that goes for anything, not even fitness. You know, there's so much just, you know, dishonesty out there. So just make sure you're doing the proper research according to what it is you want and understanding it. We never just take the time and take the time to understand what we actually need according to our goals. If we actually did take the time to educate ourselves and understand what our bodies need according to that, we'd have more success. We wouldn't be in limbo, we wouldn't be, you know, destroying our metabolisms or destroying ourselves mentally and end up hating what we're doing because we're doing such crazy, drastic, unrealistic things to ourselves. If you guys have any questions, please comment below, or if you have any of your own feedback or any professionals out there who want to make a comment below to help spread your knowledge, please share it. I don't want it to only just be me. I think more knowledge the better. I love making these videos for you guys, and I love sharing knowledge and help educating you guys, or at least helping you get you started on the right path to educating yourself and to understanding things a little bit better instead of just looking at photos and videos all the time. Thanks you guys for tuning in again. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. If it was, please like it. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Click. And please share the video, especially too, just to get that, you know, get that knowledge out there for other people who have the same question or who are lost. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys on the next video. Mwah!